From Mamamia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Tina Burke.
And welcome to our Logies special, where we're going to take you through all the surprises, shocks, funny moments. We have some critiques because we watched the Logies in full last night. Not only did we watch the Logies, but we were there.
We were there. And Laura was wearing two matching shoes.
And I really was. And that's all we can say about that. No. If we sound a bit tired to you today, we sound like those broadcasters who shop drunk to the morning after
we
show.
We didn't get to have drinks.
No, we didn't.
And that's a gripe I'd like to bring up now.
It's so funny because we obviously posted so much from the red carpet. We were both on the red carpet with our colleague Liv James. If you haven't seen our coverage, it's on the Spill Instagram. Very funny, if I do say so myself. But yes, we had to get to the Logies venue. Well, I was there bright and early from 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. You rocked up at 2 p.m. and then you and I left the office.
I like the way that sounds like I just left you to do some work. I was not required for the 10 a.m.
No. We had different start times. Okay, I wasn't trying to start beef, but guys, this episode might end in tears. We all know. But then you and I left the Mamamia office around 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And we're on bright and early this morning before 9 a.m. to start the day to bring you this very important Logies recap. So if you hear hysterical laughter or crying during this episode, that's why.
Yeah.
But that's all part of the Logies.
That's what the Logies
That's
are.
why they talk about at the end of the night especially, they're like, we've got to keep this going because you made a good point last night that out of all the award shows, the Logies is one of the few in the world that finishes close to midnight. Most award shows, the Oscars and stuff, finish quite early.
Yeah, they start in the afternoon like normal people.
So people can hit up an after party feeling fresh and flirty.
Yeah, and that's why you see broadcasters on TV the next morning, worse for wear, because the after parties don't start till midnight.
I know. And last night, they're at 11:30, they were like, okay, now onto the Gold Logie. And I was like, it's never going to end. We're all going to be watching this for the rest of our lives.
My favourite part is every year Channel 7, it used to be 9, but now Channel 7 puts the TV guide out and they're like, the Logies, 7:30 to 11. And I'm like, not once in your 66-year history have you finished at 11 p.m.
Exactly. But I actually thought this was a fun Logies this year. And I'm a bit of a Logies fangirl. It was the biggest event of my life for my sister Kate and I when we were growing up. And it's still quite a big deal to us. I'm very excited to be there.
It wasn't for me growing up, but I did work at TV Week for many years of my life. It's one of my favourite things in the world. Sorry, Laura. And so I do love the Logies, yeah.
So you might have some insider knowledge for us as we go through because you've gone into dark corners of the Logies events that most people never get to see. So kicking things off, so yes, we were standing on the red carpet, a very packed red carpet. I saw a lot of A-listers half getting knocked over, getting pushed, getting pulled. It's not all glamorous, people.
We had one anchor tell us as he came by to talk to us, he was like, girls, you've got to get your elbows out. He was start shoving because it was packed. It was tight.
I know. I saw Robert Irwin, who was obviously hosting and nominated for Gold last night at one stage, run past and then he kind of disappeared into a throng of people and everyone was pushing and then he didn't come out the other side. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, everyone stop and look down. Do you see Robert Irwin? And if you do, he needs to get to the stage.
He needs your help. He's got a show to present.
I know. Otherwise, Sam Pang would have just jumped on the stage and been like, I guess I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
But yes, we started off the telecast with Robert Irwin doing a little skit with Russell Coight.
Yes. Which is quite fun. I love that. I think that's the perfect person to bring out. And can I just say, I also predicted musical number.
Yes, you did. So Russell Coight started, who I don't know if anyone, but he is very fitting for Robert Irwin, played by comedian Glenn Robbins, one of his very famous characters. I had to tell a few of the girls in the office that because I think they thought he was a real person. I was like, no, that's a character.
Well, that's where the Logies and Australian television also needs to keep up with the times because Russell, a lot of people would know him, a lot of young people would, but a lot of the girlies aren't watching free to air. So
I know.
He's got to do more. Let's get Russell out more and more.
Yeah, so
is what I'm saying. I'm not saying cancel Russell. I'm saying more Russell on the timeline.
Don't put that energy out there.
I'm
not. So Russell Coight came to help Robert Irwin get to the Logies, hit him with a car. It's a whole thing. Stuff happens. Then Robert Irwin bursts onto the scene. Casey Donovan, with her powerful voice of an angel, is singing. There's dancers. And then Robert Irwin comes out and proceeds to do a dance number. And of course, he won Dancing with the Stars US, which is the hardest Dancing with the Stars. And you were right. He had to dance.
I was like, there's no way you don't dance after your big claim to fame this past year was dancing.
Yeah, and and also he danced multiple times throughout the night. He's like, you thought one moment dancing was enough? I'm going to dance again. I kind of wanted him to rip his shirt off like he'd done Dance with Stars.
Too much.
Yeah.
The mums at home in Australia would have lost their minds. That was not okay for
I know,
primetime
Julia Morris is
television.
in the front row. She's going to be like, oh my God, just keep the show moving. I want to go home. So we had that. Then he got to do his opening monologue. And obviously it's been less of a thing for the Logies in the last few decades. But when Sam Pang was hosting, he kind of brought in that thing of like roasting the audience in like kind of like a really timely, fun way.
Yeah.
Before that, I felt it was more kind of like bantery jokes, but I feel like Sam Pang really upped the comedy. And I was interested if Robert Irwin was actually going to keep dishing out those zingers and going hard.
Yeah, he did deliver some zingers. I thought he did a good job. Like, I was like, he has to toe the line because he's Australia's sweetheart. He's our prince. Like, that's
sweetheart.
our royal.
Yeah.
The world knows it. We know it. Like, he's our guy. And he's the sweetest angel as well. Like, everyone who's ever met him, everyone who's ever worked with him always says the same stuff. Like, they're like, is Robert Irwin really like that? And you're like, yeah, Robert Irwin is really like that.
I know so many people that have like been behind the scenes on stuff with him, and he is just he never
me,
like
you know me.
Yeah, you're one of them.
And I'm saying Robert Irwin, great guy. And
he never like whirs down and stops being Robert Irwin.
No, he's that guy. And so like it's hard, like it was hard to think like how's he going to get on stage and roast a bunch of people. But I think he did a good job of balancing like his known sweetness and like he's like, and I'm in my 20s now and I make jokes.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm being
like,
edgy
and I'm saying things.
Well,
and
one of his first big jokes was about himself, which is quite funny because he talks about the fact that he believed Channel 10 when they said I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. The show he was hosting with Julia Morris was doing really well and would be picked up and renewed. And obviously like they did not bring that show back. It's been picked up by another network, but like he did like point a bit of fun of it at himself.
Fun at himself for being too earnest and believing Channel 10. And then he said, speaking of beloved shows, apparently I hear that Channel 10 is also developing a reboot of Hughesy, We Have a Problem. And I think it's called No Seriously Hughesy, We Have a Problem.
Yeah, and Dave Hughes not in the room, but would appreciate the joke. Yeah. But it was really Karl Stefanovic who got the brunt of the jokes in the monologue and also the presenters, including Ursula Carlson, who came afterwards. And on the red carpet, everyone was asking questions about Karl, like different outlets and stuff. And he was not there, but Robert Irwin had quite a good joke.
Yes. So he said, and I'm sorry, I won't do this as well as Robert because I'm not Robert.
Oh, shocking.
He said, unfortunately, Karl Stefanovic didn't RSVP tonight, which means we didn't have to hire quite as many bartenders. Then he paused for a laugh because, giggle.
Yeah, and that was quite when I thought that was the joke, I was like,
not enough.
Bit of a soft joke, yeah.
And then he carried on. And he said, but we've kept him a spare seat just in case. It's over to the right, the far right. And that got a good giggle.
It was just like good comedic timing because it was the pause of like the far right.
Yeah.
And then they just panned around to all his colleagues in the audience. Classic messy Logies.
And he also had a little bit of a dig at Sam Pang because he's kind of got to do it. We knew they'd have a bit of fun throughout the night.
Yeah. Well, we did think Sam Pang one stage might like storm the stage, but he was just kind of making little
quips. Yeah. So he said, I grew up watching this ceremony. My mum would let me stay up past my bedtime. I'd sit there in front of the telly wide-eyed just thinking, wow, Sam Pang is hilarious. And then Sam Pang grabbed the mic at one point and was like, Robert, I just want to say you were doing a wonderful job. One little bit of advice, move it along.
Yeah, that timeliness thing. Yeah, Robert had a few really good breakout moments.
Yeah.
So obviously Peking Duck came out and performed. And then just when you think like Robert Irwin's backstage, like doing an outfit change, he storms the stage and starts doing the worm. Did I imagine that? Because that was late at last night and I hadn't slept and I was feeling feverish. He did the worm,
He's been practicing that worm. He also did it with these sketch comedy guys. One of them's in the Artful Dodger TV show. He'd done a segment with them where he did the worm yesterday as well. So I think he was really keen to show off the worm.
That's the thing about people who can do the worm. They do it all the time.
And you know what? I would too.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know how to do that. And I would do it too.
I just know if anyone knows how to do the worm, they somehow work it into like every conversation and social gathering and like moment. So
yeah. It's like me with my double jointed thumb. Like I'm like, ooh, party trick. Like,
yeah, that is the same.
Someone who can do the worm, they're like, ooh, let's talk about it.
You could just see him when they were planning out the show. I'm just assuming they had a big whiteboard and he's like, worm, just writes out and he goes, we build the show around this.
He's like, here's what I've got. Snakes. Worms.
Yeah, let's talk about
doing
a
dance.
Let's talk about Robert Irwin's a few more bits of his hosting before we get into the awards. So one of them, so he's in the audience, right? He's wearing his Logie suit.
Yeah.
And again, this is maybe the ripping Dancing with the Stars moment that I personally was looking for.
Yeah.
Is that he is wearing his suit and he rips it off and he's got his Australian Zoo like khaki outfit underneath.
Like he can do no wrong in my eyes.
So I couldn't personally appreciate that as a lady of a certain age because he's only 22 and I'm not 22. But I'm sure the younger ladies in the audience watching at home loved that.
But then, yes, so he ripped, it's so funny. He ripped his clothes off and then when you were in preschool, did like the reptile man come?
Can I just tell you, the reptile, well, first of all, I grew up in North Queensland, so like
every day was the reptile man.
Every day was the reptile man. But yes, when I was like a small child, the reptile man came to a local library that I used to go to, and I was the only kid who wasn't scared to hold the really big snake, and I wrapped it all around my neck, and then a newspaper photographer was there to take a photo, and the photo was so good it was on the front page. And that is the first time I appeared in a newspaper.
And that was when Laura Brundick knew she wanted to be a star.
And that's when I knew I wanted to be a newspaper journalist, and I was. I take that to my interviews being like, guys, I know what I'm doing.
Your portfolio on the first page.
No, I love a snake. I was jealous of everyone in the audience because he brought out a lizard first.
Yeah.
And that lizard was like, what am I doing at the Logies?
the lizard was like front and center on camera. You know when people overseas are like, Australia's not real, Australia's crazy. Yeah. Oh, those crazy Australians and all their bugs. Like, the reptile man as a concept is one of those things that makes me go, yeah, you guys are right. Because why were preschoolers lining up to like wrap a snake around themselves and like hold a lizard?
Because that's fun. We should have respect for those creatures.
It is. But like that's essentially Robert Irwin did that on like a grand scale at the Logies.
Yes.
So he had his team bring out 3 different animals. So he brought out a lizard, he brought out a snake, and then he brought out a bigger snake.
Yeah.
And he was holding them all up to the camera. I have the most amazing screenshot. It was on Mamamia.
You started like, because we were like fading at that point, and then when the snakes came out and
you came alive.
You started leaning into your laptop being like, screenshot.
Because he kept holding up the lizards' faces and being like, It was very cute. But then he did bring out a big snake. And, well, first he brought out a little snake.
Yeah, and he was getting people in the audience to hold that.
And he went over
at
to Melanie Bracewell and Sam Pang.
Yeah.
And they had a bit of a giggle. That was fun.
Sam Pang goes, it's his deadpan delivery. He's like, if that bites me, I'm suing you. Which, fair enough.
That was something I couldn't stop thinking about as some of the snakes got closer. They weren't like venomous snakes, but they could still like give you a little to the face, which we know because they've done it to Robert and to his father, Steve, on camera. But it was getting very close to Amanda Keller's face at one point, and I was like, who ensured this. But then they brought out the bigger snake and went over to Luke McGregor, Amanda Keller, and Andy. And it was just like all of their faces as the like snake slithered across the table. Like that's good television.
It was so good. I think I leaned over to you and said, this is the best Logies moment ever, just because the reactions were so good. So he started wrapping the snake around Luke McGregor, who obviously would have known it was coming because that's what I was saying last night is like, exactly, they're mic'd up, but also you can't spring a snake on someone in the audience because what if someone has a phobia and they pass out or scream or something?
It's also a really good shot and it makes sense now, but it's like when the big snake, was it a python?
Yeah.
So. When the python was given to Robert, like he's holding the python in the air and like kind of showing how big it is. And Luke McGregor's sitting behind him home aloning it. Like he's got his hands on his face and his mouth is open. And like he looked so stressed. And I was like, he would have known that was for him.
The thing is because they are living creatures and you can't control, they don't take stage direction. They don't take, notes from Robert Irwin. So like obviously the plan was kind of for the bigger snake to wrap itself around Luke McGregor, and that's what Robert was trying to do. But then the snake saw Amanda Keller and he's like, I'm going to go this way.
Starstruck. He's like, I love the living room.
Yeah. He's like, hey girl, let's get a picture. And then he started going for Andy Lee. And Andy's like, we've got some funny photos up where Andy's looking like, he's trying to go with the bit, but he's also a bit like,
yeah, and there's like some really good shots of like Andy's partner Rebecca, like she's like trying to run away from the table without causing a ruckus. So
I'm sure when she heard the snake was coming, she was like, well, it's going to be over there. I'm not involved in the bit.
Yeah.
But the snake, he just wanted to meet some celebs. God bless him. Moving past Robert Irwin's hosting, which we'll come back around to because he obviously had a big moment.
He was
at the
there
end.
all night. Yeah.
He was famously there all night. That's what the host has to do. But we'll get into some of the big awards for the night, starting with the Silver Logie for Best Lead Actress in a Drama. I was so interested in who was going to win this category because it was such a stacked list of nominees because there were so many incredible nominees in this category. But the winner ended up being Brooke Satchwell from Dear Life on Stan. Which I got quite emotional watching her go up on stage.
Yeah, you did. I didn't know you felt that way. Okay.
Obviously I was really overtired last night. But also, no, I felt emotional about Brooke Satchwell winning because there's so many actresses in that category that I loved. But some of them are kind of starting out their careers and you just know they're going to get so many awards along the way. But Brooke Satchwell, like she got up on stage and she looked really overcome. And when people are just so happy to win, that makes me happy, but especially someone who's been in the industry for decades. And Brooke Satchwell said in her speech, like the first time I was up here, here I was a teenager. Like I think she said she was 16. And now she's like, now I stand before you as a 46-year-old woman who is just so happy to be here, and I don't do this for the awards, but I do it because I love this industry and stories. And she just went on, and it just made me think of like, I don't remember a time in my life where Brooke Satchwell wasn't on my screens. Because obviously she started in Neighbours as a teen, and I grew up watching that as a kid, and then she's been on so many incredible Australian shows since then, and she's so good in Dear Life, and I just thought it was really lovely to see her getting celebrated that way, and just to know that she really appreciated, you know, some people get up on stage like, oh, a Logie, whatever, and to those people I say, you put that Logie down. That Logie means something.
Yeah, she did. I love her so much. I've loved her in everything she's been in, so it was nice to see her celebrated, and she seemed almost like this one even meant more to her than like the first time she'd won one. Like, as in it was that vibe for her. It was really nice.
Well, I guess when I'm sure it meant something to her as a teenager in Neighbours, but I guess like, you know, you're so young and you're starting out and you don't know how your career is going to go, but then to be standing there at 46 and know that like you're still making shows that people love and you know, and also looking at that room and seeing everyone that you've grown up with, I think would have been nice.
Special moment.
Yeah, so that was really lovely. And there were a few more like very tearful moments during the broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very lovely, but also very sad to see Sam Neill awarded. So Sam Neill won the Silver Logie for Best Actor in a Drama for his role in The 12. And the award was accepted by Heather Mitchell, his co-star and like really good friend. And she had also delivered like a really moving speech about him in the In Memoriam segment as well, and also spoken to us on the red carpet.
Yeah.
But when she did accept the award, she got on stage and she said, "I'm so sorry, I'm not Sam." And I think like just that alone nearly broke me for the evening. It was just the sentiment of that in itself. She was like, I know how much this would mean to him. I know his heart would be so full and he'd want to pour you all wine and embrace you all. Thank you so much on behalf of Sam. And in the In Memoriam section, she'd like quoted him and said that, to quote Sam, "I know it's easy to spiral down and think what's the worst that could happen, but I encourage you to spiral up and to think what's the best that can happen. Look up, it's blue. He didn't think he was more special than anyone else and no loss was greater than another. Sam dreamed of a peaceful world and for people to be kind." And it was just like, I think for a lot of people like me who grew up watching Sam on screen, who have this sort of really parasocial loving relationship with him, it was nice to see him honoured in that way, but also just like, I think Heather was the perfect person to deliver speeches on his behalf and to sort of remember him because it was so kind and so lovely. Another great win was also Claudia Karvan. So she's won 3 other Logies. She's been nominated like 13 times by what I've counted, possibly even more. You know, she's an icon of the Australian screen. But she won an acting award for her role in Homebodies last night. And her speech was really powerful and strong. And she also started off by saying, you know, she came to her first Logies 25 years ago. And she said, "I've won a few of these, but without throwing shade on any of my previous wins, this one feels like the most significant and important one. It's the first trans story at the Logies, low budget, supported by SBS Digital Originals." And she continued on and said it was a privilege to bring Nora to life and to say that she had been informed by all of these authentic voices who were involved with Homebodies and the creation of that series. And she said, "May all parents of trans kids and trans kids feel seen and heard," which was a really, I think, big moment for the Logies, but also for her personally.
Oh, absolutely. Like she did look so thrilled when she got there. And it kind of gave me vibes of Brooke too, of like seeing women who have been in the industry for decades kind of still being so elated that they're getting celebrated. But I think also like she was so thrilled because it was for Homebodies. Which is a show that like people have loved and has been really well received. But I think having it up on the Logie stage, and I think she's so aware of this as she's talking around how many more people are now going to go watch it and discover that show and talk about it because you have this recognizable actress winning. And then she was talking about the lived experiences of the creators and people who worked behind the scenes on the show and people who are involved in the show at the table. And they were getting really emotional as she was speaking. So I just thought overall, just like such a good moment. And that, again, for people who say we don't need things like the Logies, and like sometimes in moments like that we do. Because it just gave that show such a new hit of publicity that you can't buy with a television ad or anything like that. Like it was just such a beautiful moment, and you can see, and like we reposted some of Claudia's speech on our socials and you can see people commenting. Like it just brought that show to so many more people.
Yeah, I am a huge advocate for what the Logies does celebrate, which is like the best in Australian television. It is not just like what is the biggest show. It is like what's on the ABC that was a hidden gem that you might have missed. Like what was the most incredible storytelling or the best acting performance. It's not just like here's an award for being popular.
Yeah,
there are popular categories, and then there is like the quote unquote best categories, which is what the rest of them are. And it's celebrating like the amazing stuff that we have to offer. So it was really cool to see her win that award.
Okay, on to some other big wins of the night. And there's obviously a few that we know about beforehand, which is the inductees into the Logies Hall of Fame, because that gets announced a few days out, which is nice because it gives people time to sort of ask those people as they're walking down the red carpet. Well, the thing is, usually there's only one inductee each year into the Hall of Fame. That's correct, right?
Yeah, this is the first year there's been more than one.
I checked my history on that because I was really surprised when there was 3.
Yeah, there's never been more than one.
Was that because it was the 70th anniversary?
It's not the 70th anniversary referred to Australian television 70 years.
Yes.
It's only the 66th TV Week Logies, and it's only the 42nd year of this award. So there was no special kind of reason to do 3.
I was trying to find a link. Okay, well, we'll get to that in a second because I had some thoughts around that. One of the inductees into Hall of Fame, the first person who was inducted was Deborah Mailman, which was really exciting for a number of reasons. One is because, again, Deborah Mailman's one of those people who has been on our screens for decades. A lot of people came to love her in The Secret Life of Us, and she's gone on to do so many amazing TV shows and movies since then. And that was really beautiful and also extra special and important because she was the first Indigenous person to be inducted into the Logies Hall of Fame and only the 6th woman to be inducted, right?
Yep.
All of that sounds crazy and so out of date, but sometimes when you look at the Australian TV and film industry, it kind of tracks, which is very sad.
Yeah, the Logies got to the 21st century and they were like, oh yeah, women exist. And they started handing out some awards to women.
Yeah, but only every so often.
Only every so often. 6 out of 42.
Is crazy when you look, especially when you look at like categories like the Gold Logie, which as the years go on become more and more dominated by women. Like there was that year, was it last year or the year before when it was like Hamish Blake and then the rest of them were all women.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who are like hosting our TV shows and everything. It's crazy. Anyway, TV for you, man. Hey, what a fun time. So Deborah Mailman was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and before she came up to do her speech, they had a beautiful tribute package where a lot of her co-stars, including Claudia, Karvan, Kate Blanchett, Rachel Griffiths, who have all worked with her on different TV shows over the years, were speaking about their memories of her and how incredible she is. And in a really beautiful moment, they had her high school drama teacher, who Deborah has always said is the one who really told her she should be an actress, even though she talked about being so shy growing up, that one of the reasons she did speech and drama was to kind of come out of her shell, and this teacher believed in her so much. And then they had the teacher in the package talking about her, and then they flashed to Deb in the audience. Oh, I cried last night. I'm going to cry again. And Deborah started crying, and she was shocked. She didn't know her teacher was going to be involved.
Yeah, when she got up on stage, the first thing she was like, I don't know how you got her. Like, how did you find her? But that, I guess, as well is really sweet because in the package they revealed, like, yes, all of that about how she fell into acting, but also because of that drama teacher and because she fell in love with acting, she then did a local stage play, and that was how she was discovered to end up in her first film. So it really all did come down to this one teacher sort of believing in her and giving her that push. So that was really sweet.
She talked about growing up in Mount Isa, shout out to rural parts of Queensland, and the fact that her parents, when she told them that she wanted to be an actress, they only gave her support and love. And she talked about taking like the bus home from Brisbane to Mount Isa, that 24-hour bus, which if anyone in, like, especially in Queensland has been on those long bus rides, they are, I speak from experience, they are absolute hell. And she said her parents were always waiting for her when she got home at the bus stop to like pick her up and support her, and it was really lovely. So she dedicated her award to them, to her husband and children, but also talked about other Indigenous actresses who are coming up through the ranks who were in the room that night. And it was just really beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I say something not controversial, just something that I think should be
addressed? Yes.
Deborah Mailman will never say this, so I'm just going to say it for her because she's too lovely and too much of a gem. But I just think that she should have had her own year of being inducted into the Logies Hall of Fame solo. Because as she was up on stage, I was like, this is such a monumentous event, not just because it's Deborah Mailman and everyone loves her. If you ask anyone their favourite Australian actresses, she's always on the list.
Yeah.
The first Indigenous person, which again, it's
huge milestone, but also crazy to think it hasn't happened yet.
It should have happened earlier, but a huge milestone that deserved a lot of attention, and one of only a handful of women that have been inducted. As I was watching her speech, I was like, this is so beautiful and so glorious. I feel like she should have had her own year to be celebrated and not be one of 3.
Yeah.
Because not that it took away from it at all, and I don't think she felt that. I'm just projecting. But I just felt like I don't understand why she didn't get her own year to be the solo inductee into the Hall of Fame, because it deserved more of a moment, is all I'll say on that. Because the next thing inducted into the Logies Hall of Fame was the TV show A Country Practice.
Yes, which is like they have inducted Home and Away, they've inducted Neighbours, Four Corners. Like a lot of TV shows have won awards before actual people as well.
Yeah.
Which is also its own weird thing. And, you know, A Country Practice was a really groundbreaking and exciting show to a lot of Australians. A lot of Australians grew up loving that show. It was a huge deal culturally. However, also it is a TV show, and it would have been nice. Also, then the next was Andrew Denton, who again, like he actually spoke about potentially rejecting the Logies Hall of Fame when he was first spoken to about it, but because he just thought he didn't deserve it or didn't want to put himself out there for that. But then he thought of other people who'd won, like Magda, and it was nice to see when they were all like celebrated for their work. So he was like, okay, I'll go and I'll do it. But I wonder if they all realized that it was like the trio of them together. I'm sure it was explained to them, but maybe not like the significance of being the only time there were three people or two people in a show inducted into it, because it does a little bit take the shine away for each of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I have no beef with A Country Practice. I've never personally watched it, but I know
it's not my show because I was not alive.
Yeah. And I don't think I was old enough to like hold a remote or anything like that. But I do know, like we know about it because it's, even though it's been off our screens for decades, it's still such a cultural moment. The people involved in the show are really celebrated actors. The creator of the show had sadly passed away, who his son came out.
That was nice.
And that was really lovely. I had no beef with any of that. I just felt like
Deborah deserved her own year.
I just felt like each of them almost deserved their own year.
Yes,
and to be honest, that's also how I felt about Andrew Denton when he came out, because his intro package was so funny because it was like all his fellow TV presenters and comedians being like, where is Andrew Denton? No one's seen him for years. No one's looking. No one cares. Yeah. He's so short. No one cares. It was just like very funny.
Yes. They're all very deserving. But like you said, it was just a strange decision to suddenly do 3 in 1 year. And it did like... It made it feel like less of a special thing, I guess, a little bit in broadcasting back to back to back. Like,
exactly.
Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, by the time you got to Andrew Denton, because when his package was playing and they were going through like how he had changed Australian TV, where he had started, the TV shows he was on, the significance of like Interview and Enough Rope and all these other things, people that he had like brought onto his shows that had gone on to have big careers. I was watching it and I was like, yeah, Andrew Denton is like, again, such a part of the fabric, and he should be celebrated in his own year.
Yeah.
And I know he mentioned Deborah in his speech and he was talking about it, and which is lovely.
And like you said, you're not saying any of them have beef. You just wish they all got their moment.
No, the only person with beef is me personally. Me and the Logies, actually.
You and the organisers of the Logies.
Me and the organisers of the Logies, the only ones who have beef here, just because I know what they were trying to do by having 3 in there. Like, I think maybe the idea was like, we'll have 3, it'll feel so big. But it kind of made you feel like each person just deserved their own moment. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it was very special to see, especially Deborah. If anyone hasn't seen her speech, I would say go watch it in full.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to the end of the night. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11:30,
Not
actually.
11. I was like, it's beyond that.
No, it's 11 o'clock where they said we still have 3 more awards and another special treat in store. And this is, remember how like in previous years, they're like, it's 11:30 and we still have awards to go. And then they bring out a musical guest and they nearly get egged and like thrown off the stage. Because it's not that people don't like them. Everyone's like,
it's that it's 11:30.
We want to go home. Those people have been there since 5.
Yeah.
We've all been working since the early hours. Everyone just wants to go get drunk or go home.
Yeah.
So what they had this year was that TV Week had done this voting thing for Australian shows, right?
Yeah, to celebrate like 70 years of Australian television. They did like a countdown of, everyone votes for their favourite show. Also probably because like there's less most popular categories now in the Logies. So this was also, I guess, a way for the fan voted element to still feel a bit like, woo, exciting.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting way to put it. So between all the awards, they'd be like, number 7 this, number 8 that. And you'd see shows like McLeod's Daughters pop up. And there was this whole big build up of what would be the 3 top shows. They say that to the end. So number 3, A Country Practice. But I was also like, it just got inducted into the Hall of Fame and it was number 3, which number 3 is very high, but it just felt weird. And then we had...
And that's the difference between fan voted and Hall of Fame, whoever makes those decisions.
And then number 2, Home and Away.
Shock twist.
Which I was actually, when I saw that, I was like, but wait, who's number 1? Because I would have thought Home and Away would be number 2. It's been on so long. So many big stars have come from it.
And all Home and Away viewers, TV Week readers, match made in heaven.
Yeah, the same people. And also it's one of the few shows that was like being celebrated for being on the air for decades, already in the Hall of Fame, still airing.
Yeah.
I would have thought Home and Away would be number 1. So when they called it out as number 2, in my nearly falling asleep state, I went, who is number 1? And then the music started playing and it was Kath and Kim.
And I thought, correct choice.
I actually did too. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God. I just didn't know if the Australian public would rise to the occasion. Sorry, I doubted you guys. I didn't know if they would rise to the occasion because it's been off the air for so long. But I think it goes to say show like how much that show has become a part of our culture in the way that people quote that show all the time.
Yeah.
Without even directly meaning to like mention Kath and Kim. Like it's just become so much of our culture. The fact that it got voted number one after being off the air for so long, I was thrilled.
I think everything about Kath and Kim speaks to like everything that's great about Australian TV. Like, yes, we've got some like, we've got things like Home and Away, they're like long-running soaps. We've got like our like reality TV. And we've got like, you know, some really prestigious dramas, of course. But I do think our irreverent like sense of comedy and the kinds of stuff that we can make is funnier than anywhere else in the world. Like I think a lot of those like ABC and SBS comedies are just like the best television in the world. So I think Kath and Kim deserved it.
Oh, 100%. And also it's interesting you're saying about the international reaction to Kath and Kim because it is an internationally recognized show and people love it. And it could not be created. They tried. Remember the American Kath and Kim? Guys, don't look at it.
I would love to forget.
Selma Blair. She tried. Again, nothing against Selma Blair. We love her, but like it looked crazy.
It looked crazy.
It was the American version was completely devoid of humor.
Yeah.
It only worked with this cast and these characters.
Yeah. There's something so specific about the Australian sense of humor, and I do think we get away with things. Actually, Andy Lee said this on the red carpet last night. I think we get away with things comedically that other countries don't get away with. And not in a like push and buttons way. Our sense of humor is just so different.
Yeah, when we asked him the best thing about Australian TV, which is just like a fun question, but some people really got into it and he was one of them. He's like, we can do things here. You can't. He's like, he and Hamish have had like American TV shows and things.
Yeah.
And they're like, these people just don't, they're not funny like we are.
They're not funny like we are, sorry.
I would believe that. And then we're getting to the end of the night, the very hyped, anticipated Gold Logie. This is where it gets interesting because Robert Irwin is obviously hosting the show famously. He's danced, he's held a lizard, he's taken his top off. What can't the man do?
And all while voting was still happening. Voting closed at 10:30 p.m. So Robert was like milking those minutes on the screen.
People could have been voting for him right to the end. Then he was in a little conundrum because he kept hyping that a special guest presenter was coming out because, of course, he can't announce Gold Logie.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
It actually would have been great if he'd announced his own name.
That would be so good.
But I understand why they couldn't do that. So he kept hyping this guest. And I was like, oh, it's going to be, like, not in a bad way, but I was like, oh, it's going to be like another TV presenter that he's friendly with. That's someone who's probably in the room, who's come up from, and it's going to be fine, but it's not going to be a big deal. And I was like, let's move things along.
Yeah.
And then the presenter came out and the whole audience gasped and got very excited. And my heart started beating a bit faster because the guest presenter was Magda Szubanski as Sharon Strzelecki, her character from Kath and Kim.
Yes.
And the roar that came up from that audience, and it would have been diluted for us at home.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was bigger in the room.
Oh, we were all gasping in the office.
And we were all gasping and clapping in the office. It's like nearly midnight. And like, it's like we were about to die. And then we came back alive when we saw Magda come out because everyone loves her so much. And also as Sharon, which is one of her most favorite characters.
Like, and in the most Sharon possible costume. Like, you know how Sharon was always injured? Like, this was like so much more than that. And it was because they did it as a bit of she started working at Australia Zoo.
Yeah. So she came out and she's in that classic Sharon kind of vibe. She's looking eye patch, looking shell-shocked, but she's got an Australia Zoo outfit on. It's ripped and torn to shreds.
Everywhere. She kept turning around to show off all the rips.
Oh, when she turned around and the whole back of her shirt had claw marks in it, I was hysterical. I could not. And she had like stuff and like feathers and twigs and stuff in her hair. And then Robert Irwin just does some acting.
He did some acting, yeah.
He did some acting. It was okay. He was like, Sharon, what happened? Kind of like that. And then she was talking about how she fell in the lion enclosure.
Yeah. Do they have lions? I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know enough. I only know about the crocodile show.
And she's like, yeah, but do people who do that get to keep their jobs? And he was like, no, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? And they're having this bit. And then he was like, well, since you're here, you know, and this is when she turns around and you see the whole back of her shirt is just clawed. It's so funny. And he's like, well, can you announce the Gold Logie? Because I can't do it in case I win. And she's like, a bit presumptuous. But okay. And then Robert scurries off to the side of the stage. And Sharon proceeds to announce the Gold Logie, which can I say, up until this moment, I had been saying all night that it was going to be Robert Irwin.
Yeah.
Because
it just seemed like it would be.
He's beloved. he wins stuff.
Yeah,
He's got 2 different demos, younger and older. People of all ages love Robert Irwin. And as you were saying, voting is open all night for the Gold Logie. So if you're waiting to the last minute to vote and you're seeing Robert Irwin being delightful on stage and he's front and center in your mind, it makes more sense you would vote for him. So I thought Robert was 100% going to win, and I was so shocked. Not because he's bad, love that man, not the way other people love him, but it was Sam Pang.
The best day of my life.
And it was very exciting for a lot of people. When I say I don't love him the way other people love him, I love him as a comedian. He seems lovely. But we have a lot of mutual friends who are like, he's their celeb crush.
He's my celeb
They're
crush.
like, he's yours. Okay, well, I wouldn't know if I want to out you.
What is this podcast for if not for me to say
if not to talk about men we think are hot. So yeah, Sam Pang is a lot of people's celebrity crush.
A lot of people's celebrity crush.
This is why maybe I shouldn't have doubted him to win, because nothing is more powerful than a lady with a crush. Did you vote for Sam Pang?
I didn't vote. It's actually the first year I haven't voted.
Really?
I was busy. I was busy.
No, but I'm just surprised that you voted the last couple of years.
Oh, just for fun. Just to see.
Yeah.
Like, I like to see what the tech looks like now. It's changed.
Okay, nerd.
But I didn't vote, but I would have probably voted for him. I love Sam Pang so much. And I also think, and a lot of people would know this, that would have been like, while it's an honor, I think it's also his worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Being put through like the rounds of like being nominated, having to do photo shoots, like then having to win and like celebrate and be on stage, like holding an award and like being recognized for being good at your job. That seems like something he would hate.
Yeah.
And he did give quite a lovely earnest speech still, but it was just like, it's one of those things where like when we've tried to get him to do shoots or things like that as part of the Logies, like he's always like, he's not someone who wants attention, I don't think. Even though he's a comedian, even though he's out there, like he's very much doing it because he loves it.
He wants to come on stage and make people laugh, but he's like, don't ask me it myself. Don't tell me I was good. Just let me go home.
Yeah, let me leave.
So it's so fun because he and Magda then had a little interaction. Yeah. And then Robert came and like escorted her off stage, which is really lovely. Yeah. And the other reason I think why like Sam took a moment of his speech to like thank Magda and why everyone was up and clapping is that obviously last year she was inducted into the Hall of Fame by herself solo as God intended. Yeah. And she had to give her acceptance speech via video because she was in treatment for cancer, and it's been reported since then that she's now in remission from cancer. And I also think that's why people were celebrating and why. Yeah, I know. And I think that's also why when people saw her come out like walking on the stage and being this character again, it was such a beautiful moment when you think about what she was going through this time last year. And I also thought that it was really nice of Sang Pang to like, you know, be like, oh, Magda's, what incredible, like just to say what everyone was thinking. And then he gave a really beautiful speech about when you grow up in this country, like me, like you enjoy watching TV and you love it, but you never think that you'll get to be on the TV. Yeah. And then he said, like, I remember sitting watching Australian TV at the feet of my parents because they wouldn't let me sit on the couch and just thinking, you know, that I wanted to do that. Yeah. And he carried on to say, like, I think it was nice to see him be earnest for a minute. Yeah. I don't know if everyone would have expected it from him, but he was like, it's a wonderful industry. It's a wonderful world full of talented people and amazing programs, as we've all seen tonight. And I just want to say I'm very, very lucky and very, very grateful to be a part of it. And I was like, Sam, I'm going to cry. But he also said some funny stuff because he was like, I'm really sorry if I've forgotten to thank anyone, but also maybe you have a think about that and think that maybe you didn't do that much to help me. So good. So good. And then obviously Robert came back out to kind of like end the show together with him, which was quite cute. Well, I think he was trying to say, like, because obviously it had come up on the screen, the prompter, the outro, and Robert tried to share it with Sam Pang, but Sam Pang was a bit like, that's your job, I've done that. But in a funny way. It was very cute. He was like, he tried to do it and he's like, no, you just, you. Yeah. He's like, dude, I just want to Gold Logie. I don't have to do the outro. Yeah. You lost, you do the outro. And so Robert Irwin closed the Logies. Yeah. And I'm going to say, I think he did Robert Irwin's report card. I think he did a good job. I agree. Would it B+? I mean, A's would be top tier. A's Sam Pang. That's too hard to achieve on your first year. But I think he did a good job, and he did it in his way, right? He brought in all of his things. I assumed he would bring in some animals because his dad 23 years ago came up through the floor with a snake and did a whole bit with Eddie Maguire. And then Robert also did a bit with Eddie Maguire last night and did the bit with the snake. So I think he did a really good job of honing in to what his thing is. Yeah, and he also is the youngest host in Logies history, so that's a huge thing. So I think seen far worse Logies hosts than Robert Irwin. Absolutely. Yeah. So no, I think he did a great job. And overall, I thought it was there was no scandals, there was no smackdowns or anything like that. Maybe something happened at the after party. We don't know.
We'll never know. They all sign NDAs.
I know. We're not allowed into the after party because media's not allowed in. If you did see something you want to tell us just for our own vibes, just DM us. we won't tell anyone. But overall, I thought it was a lovely Logies ceremony, and exactly, not to be super earnest, but I'm a Logies fangirl of exactly why we need the show to celebrate all these people. And if you're looking for a new show to watch, if you just go onto even the Logies nominations list, there are so many great shows there that I'm sure some people haven't even heard of.
Agreed.
So that would be the place to look for your next show. The Logies, done and dusted for another year. Now we sleep.
And maybe next year, 3 p.m. start.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening to The Spill today. If you would like to test out your knowledge as a spiller, you can take our very special quiz. We will link it in our show notes. We will be back in your feed bright and early tomorrow morning with Morning Tea, hosted by Ash London. Bye.